Altitude Accelerators here at Collision, and today I'm here with Christian Delos Santos, CEO and co-founder of Biofect Innovations. Christian, thank you for being here with me today.
Well, thanks for coming along. Excited for the conference, and I hope everybody's having a good time.
I sure am. Hope you are as well. So to start this off, if you could tell me about what inspired you to start Biofect Innovations.
Yeah, so Biofect Innovations, we're a biotech company from Toronto. We're a startup, and what we're really doing here is we're harnessing the power of microbes. So the same technology we use to make beer, wine, or insulin, we're using that technology to create other high-value molecules and ingredients. And really the inspiration for this work stems from my academic journey. I was a PhD scientist, I was studying molecular biology, and not just me, but my founders as well. We thought we're learning so many different cool things. We're learning how to genetically engineer small microbes. Why don't we use it to make something that can help people? And this is sort of the main idea of Biofect, where let's explore what's out there that we can create using this platform that makes your life better. So that's essentially what we want to do here.
That's amazing. So I'm wondering, Biofect is definitely a company that seems to really value sustainability and environmental stewardship. So if you could tell me a little bit about how your products are helping to further sustainability in the food product market.
I mean, like I mentioned, we are a biotech company and we're harnessing the power of microbes. When you think about what exactly that means, you're essentially creating a 3D printer, if you will, for biomolecules. So you don't need traditional agriculture to gain those natural ingredients. You can just use, as an example I can give you, in the 1980s, we discovered that we can produce insulin using E. coli. Previous to that, we were able to produce insulin using animals, so sacrificing 20,000 animals just for a pound of insulin. But in the 1980s, scientists discovered we can just take the DNA of an animal that produces insulin, and then you engineer that into an E. coli, and you ferment it in a fermentation tank, and you're making insulin without sacrificing animals. So can you imagine the sustainability benefits that that brings? And of course, this technology is not limited to insulin. You can create so many different things as well. In our case, we're creating a food ingredient, which I'm sure we'll get to soon. We're creating a food ingredient to solve our sugar addiction. And what we're trying to replace here is sugar crops, so sugar farming. Sugar crops are some of the most polluting crops on Earth. They're the main cause of deforestation, water shortages, and it's the second largest greenhouse gas emitter amongst all crops. Imagine we're creating an ingredient to replace all of that, all by using a friendly microbe and a bioreactor.
That is truly amazing. I feel like the future of sweeteners and sugar replacements could forever be innovated with your solution at Biofect. So with all that being said, I'm wondering, what are your future milestone goals for Biofect Innovations? And on top of that, how do you plan on achieving those goals?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, to introduce a little bit more of what we're making, we developed this platform. The platform is the microbe, and it's your imagination can run wild. What do you want to make using this platform? Me and you can go to the Amazon rainforest right now, and we can pick out a certain flavor, a certain color, but of course we can't bring that plant back to Canada. We can just take the DNA and then engineer our microbe in the lab and then produce that same compound, that same scent, that same flavor. So for us, what we're creating here is something called brazine. And I'm not too sure, you probably heard of what brazine is, but it's a protein that you would find in a West African fruit called the oublie berry. And this fruit is, it's named oublie because in French it's oublier. If you know your French, it means to forget. The reason why it's called to forget is when babies eat the fruit, they forget about their mother's milk. And again, the reason for that is because there's a protein in that fruit called brazine that is so sweet, 2,000 times sweeter than sugar. And in my mind, I thought, why don't we use that as a sweetener? But of course, you can't grow it in Canada, you can't grow it anywhere else. It's pretty unsustainable to grow, so you can't scale that protein found in the fruit. So what we did at Biofect is to demonstrate that our platform is working, our microbial platform, we wanted to make this amazing high-value product that can support the food system, which is brazine. So the next milestones that we have now is, I have in my pocket here, this ampule, this is the white powder of brazine that you can see there. This is a protein that you would find in the fruit itself, but we didn't need to go to West Africa. I don't have the fruit itself, and we just made this in the lab. So our milestone now is to really just scale the production of this, and we have a lot of different partners to help us along the way, and really, I can't complain. We've been very privileged being helped by so many different organizations. So future is bright for Biofect Innovations.
I definitely agree with that last statement. And further on that, where do you see Biofect in the next 5 to 10 years?
So for us, as we're scaling this production in the lab, you want to, in production in terms of fermentation, you want to scale it, making it bigger and bigger and bigger. So in in the next few years, where we see Biofect is extending beyond brazine. So as you can imagine, we have a platform. We can produce brazine, we can produce other flavors, other components, and there's so many different customers that are demanding natural products without necessarily impacting the environment, meaning can we get the same product from traditional agriculture without needing traditional agriculture? And we get that question all the time. And the short answer is yes, we can with the platform. So in the next few years, we hope to branch off, scale the production of brazine, and really just create a better food system with sustainable ingredients.
That's amazing. I'm excited to see that in the next 5 to 10 years. And finally, what are some key lessons that you've learned from personally leading Biofect with your colleagues?
So I have to admit, I wish I was an entrepreneur born. Many people have the stories selling their CDs outside of subway stations. I stumbled into entrepreneurship. I was a scientist, but something that I've really learned and something that we've developed as entrepreneurs is that we realize we got to get to the truth as fast as we can. Because as scientists, we like to do research, we like to publish papers, and sometimes it's just for the sake of publishing research. There's no translational application for it, but in business, you really need to get to your truth. You're building something. Do people matter? Are people going to benefit from what you're producing? So getting to the truth as fast as you can, and what that means is really letting your ego aside, because sometimes you have your baby that you want to take care of in entrepreneurship, but if it's not working, you have to be able to move on. So this is something at Biofect where we've really taken a close look at being pragmatic with our approach. If something's not working, move on to the next one as fast as you can, because time is your most valuable asset and you got to maximize it.
That's certainly true from my experience as well. Well, thank you so much, Christian. It's been a pleasure learning about your journey at Biofect and the products that Biofect is creating. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of Collision.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you.